Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from vacation still in Europe, Josh Lander, joined by my man Nate Weitzer. He's on the East Coast in the U.S. still. We're looking at player props here to end the week, Nate. Got a pretty nice little 8-game slate here to choose from. So we do have this video for you. Got a couple other game line videos up for you as well. So make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along with us each and every weekday of this regular season. Also head to thelines.com. You can go ahead and make sure you check out all our great written content. Nate's got props up there each and every weekday as well for you guys. Also have our great odds finder tool and all of those articles so you can make sure that you are shopping those lines to the best of your ability and these player props as well across U.S. sportsbooks. Nate, let's go ahead and kick things off with your first player prop for tonight.
Nikola Jokic in the first game on the slate here with the Celtics hosting the Nuggets. That total opened at 233 and it's crept down to 229. And if it keeps going down, I think you could look at the over here. I mean, two of the most efficient offenses in the league, not necessarily great interior defenses. With Rob Williams out, the Celtics are 24th in defensive rating this year, and also same in free throw rate. And I think Jokic at 23.5 points here, it's low because he hasn't hit that in his last three against the Celtics. He only got 10 free throw attempts in those 3 games. He shot 17 for 43 from the floor. And I credit Rob Williams with a lot of that defense. And then his 2 meetings prior against Boston, when Rob was coming off the bench, was still a factor, but not their main defensive stopper. Joker had 43 and 30. I mean, you can't hold down the MVP forever. He did have exactly 23 in his last 2 against the Celtics. And we're looking at a little bit of extra rest for him. In their last game at Indy, the Nuggets, he played only 24 minutes. Due to foul trouble. He had 21 points on a 43% usage rate. That is a season high by far. It was already starting to ramp up to a little bit, him looking to score more. I mean, early in the season, clearly they're looking at making an effort to get Murray and Porter more integrated on offense, and Porter is still firing away, but the Nuggets, they know they got to win games here. This is not an easy game where you can just choose who you want to get going. They're going to need Jokic's offense against the Celtics team that is just lighting it up on the other side of the floor. So I see him getting over that with the points for sure. Also, the rebounds is you add 11 rebounds, you get 34.5 for points and rebounds. I would tack that on as well. Celtics give up the 4th most rebounds per game to centers right now. They are not crashing the glass. They shoot a lot of threes, and that means reasonable rebounds. And then again, with the extra rest, last year when Joker had 2 days of rest, he averaged 15 boards a game, which is like 1.5 more than he did in normal situations. So I think he will be giving you a nice double-double here to get you over that prop if you want to combine it.
Yeah, I'm with it, man. I mean, I think the Celtics are going to win this game for sure, to be honest with you. I like them a lot. I mean, the Nuggets not showing much on the road, to be honest with you, especially against the spread, and it's not too big. But I'm not too worried about a blowout. I suppose I could see one, right? Like I could see a C's blowout tonight, to be honest with you. But look, with Joker, the way he's been playing, it's been a little bit less about the points with him this season. So I might be inclined to go ahead and take the rebounds as well. But still, because I feel good about him getting double digits. It's about 11, including that on top of the points. So I think that's where my preference lies. But I'm not going to fight you on anything you do with Joker tonight against a team that doesn't have Rob Will III. So moving on to a game that we did talk about there with that Dubs and Cavs game in Golden State. Mr. Spider Mitchell, we hinted very strongly that we'd be talking about him in this player props video. His point sits at 27.5. Over that is minus 110 on DK. 30 plus in the W is really, really nice. It's about 3-1 on your money on FanDuel specifically. Plus 290 is where that's got the best price for you guys. I consider it. I don't feel strongly about one of these teams winning. I feel like I'd get bitten in the ass if I just kind of come out here boldly and claim that the Dubs or that the Cavs are going to beat the Dubs at home. 4-1 are the Dubs at home. But I do love the points in this one. I mean, he's averaging well more than the 27.5 there, about 32 a game on the season, which is good for third best. He's actually averaging 6 more at home, Nate. So 34 points per game on the road this season.
6 more on the road.
Yeah, I meant the road. Yeah,
we're on the road.
Exactly. Yeah, 6 more on the road where they're playing tonight. 34 per game on the road. So you feel even better about that. His offensive rating on the road is 131 individually, 31.5% usage rate. Right. So he's continuing to play a lot of minutes, as we talked about, 39 a game, which is the most in the league. With the still just the 13th highest usage rate, which is wild. 31% is still a very, very high usage rate, but actually is outside the top 10. But he's also, we talk about the Dubs in that video. We talk about the Dubs really, really bad on defense. Really bad on defense in the fourth quarter, where they give up the most points a game. Donnie's actually second most, really. Seth Curry's in there with one fourth quarter he's played this year. He had like 13 points. But Kyrie is the only player who's actually played a few games this season that has more points per game than Donnie, who's chucking up about 6 shots per fourth quarter, right? So in that fourth quarter, I think you expect him to come alive, which is also why I kind of feel better about the Cavs, who have been actually come back twice now while they were down going into a fourth quarter, that they've won a game by double digits because Donnie kind of goes off. So I feel really good about him getting 30 points in this one, and I'm probably going to be a sucker enough to sprinkle some on that 3-1 for the 30 points and a W for the Cavs.
Yeah, I think there's a narrative there for that. I mean, the Cavs are damn good, and they've kind of done a double trap game leading up to this one. They're on a 5-game roadie. They dropped them at the Clippers. They had the Clippers buried and then gave up a 17-2 run to lose that game. Then they lost to the Kings, who we like, and I think they're looking ahead at this one, which is your one chance to beat the Warriors at their house. Donnie Mitchell, of course, will be happy to trade buckets with Steph Curry and company. The Warriors playing no defense; they're playing at the fastest pace in the league. As a fan, you want to see both those guys hit their props tonight. It's him and Steph, and just treat us to a shootout. And that's why I don't think we're really betting the line in any way. It really just depends on it. It'll be a make or miss situation, but I think both offenses should have plenty of flow going. The Knicks are -9 at home, which is the biggest part that makes me worry about taking an over on one of their main guys here. Julius Randle, the points right now are 20.5, and he's been getting buckets inside and out. I'm more interested, I think, in him to hit 3 threes, which is plus 140. I think you can get it at different sites right now. He's been feeling himself from 3, and it's completely unsustainable for him to have shot 53% here in the last 3, hit 15 threes. But, maybe we can squeeze one more game where he at least hits a few, or at least feels confident enough to fire double digit. He went 8 for 13 the other night. And the net, against the Pistons, he shot 5 for 17 his last 4. So they're probably not going to be closing out that hard on him, right? They'd be like, all right, you want to try to beat us from there? Sure. Detroit is obviously a poor defensive team, which is the biggest concern, because they lost 130-106 earlier this season to the Knicks. It was quick work. Randle had 15 points in 25 minutes. In closer games, though, he's up to 28 points per game on a 29% usage rate in those last 3. He's getting fed the ball now that he doesn't have to play some sort of weird point forward. And Detroit does allow the 4th most points to power forwards, 4th most paint points, 5th most rebounds to power forwards. So if Detroit can stay close, I think he has a very good chance to get over his scoring and rebounding props. But I think you could get the threes even if it is a blowout, and Randle just continues to be a streaky shooter and hit a few from deep.
Yeah, it's actually more surprising to me that he's taken basically 10 a game in the last 3 than anything. But that is a little bit more of the current way that the Knicks are playing, as we see the ball in Brunson's hands a bit more. And so that, guys are spread out a bit more. And then guys like Randle and RJ are also either able to shoot or preferably, honestly, a lot of times drive or slash from that position. But yeah, I didn't know which Knick I wanted to take. I let you talk us both into Randle, and I don't feel bad about that one either. But I honestly don't have a problem if you wanted to to get even Brunson or RJ. Both those guys are like to be able to go off. RJ plays a little bit more of that four. It's tough to kind of pin these guys into a specific position to say who does or doesn't play well against their position, as RJ and Julius oftentimes play a very similar position, just on opposite sides of the floor. So yeah, look, either way, like I'm not going to tell you not to take any of those guys. I would be a little bit worried about the blowout. I mean, the Knicks have been better against bad teams this season and have not been able to handle some of the better teams that have actually gotten handled by those better teams. So I think this is another opportunity for them to win. I don't know if they're going to be able to sustain another blowout like they did against the Pistons last time in Detroit. So I'm going to finish off the props here tonight, Nate, with Brook Lopez. Look, he played 46 minutes last game against the Thunder. I know they went to overtime, and Javon Carter was more the hero in that one, but he got well over the prop that he's got in this game. 17.5 points. I think I'm going with the rebounds at 7.5 over that, to be honest. And I'm not gonna. I would take the points as well against this Spurs team that is just so bad on defense, like so bad on defense. One of the worst, definitely the worst defensive rating, and then just in terms of allowing teams to do everything in the paint and 3-point. Which is the two most important spots on the court, right? All around the 3-point line. They're third worst. In the paint, they allow the most points, do the Spurs. So that's where Brook does all of his work, right? It's either going to be in the paint getting rebounds on offense, or he's going to be outside, getting a 3-point attempt. He had 21 3-point attempts in this field goal attempts. 23 field goal attempts in those 46 minutes with a 23% usage rate in that last game where there was no Giannis, there was no Drew, there's no Chris Middleton, no Pat Connaughton, no Joe Ingles, right? Like, so this is it. It's him and Jordan Nwora who are going to be getting the usage rates for this team tonight, and I feel pretty good about Brook able to get those with in that situation. The last 4 games without Giannis, all of the in this calendar year, but dating back to last season, 19 points a game, 5 boards. That's all in 24 minutes. You got to assume that he's playing closer to roughly 35 minutes tonight that you would expect him to get, as opposed to more of that bench role that he normally plays when Giannis isn't in. Last season, the only reason I think he got 24 minutes a game when Giannis wasn't playing was Brook was actually coming back from injury, and Drew and Chris were both playing in those games, both of whom will not be there tonight. I already told you how bad San Antonio is on defense. They also are specifically bad, obviously, if they're giving up a ton of points in the paint. It's because they're giving those up to opposing centers, where they do allow the 5th most points and the 8th most rebounds. So it's Brook Lopez, man, against this really bad team. He's still a really good, efficient offensive player, so I'm going to feel good about that.
I don't feel good about this at all. I mean, the fact that he put up that huge line and played so many minutes 2 nights ago, and the fact that the line opens with the Bucks as underdogs, and you're like, hang on, why are the Bucks under? Oh, because nobody's playing, and they might just be taking a scheduled loss. And the fact that it's the Spurs, who, while they're bad, I mean, they're never undisciplined, right? They know how to handle their personnel, and Brolo, granted on much lower usage, averages 10 points and under 5 boards in 6 against the Spurs. I mean, he does have Giannis out there a lot. I mean, I think we would have rather taken one of the guards or wings here on the Bucks. The props just aren't out yet. It's actually the rookie Beauchamp. I don't know how to pronounce it. Beauchamp, who played 30 minutes last time. I think I'd be interested in him or Grayson Allen, who had foul trouble against the Thunder last time. I think I'd be interested in either of those guys seeing a spike in usage rather than it being the Javon Carter Brolo show in a second consecutive game, because those guys are old, and I don't think you're going to expect them to carry your offense on a nightly basis with that when your 2 stars are out. So I think look for the young guys more in this matchup.
Yeah. There's nothing there for me to look at right now. But I stand by what I said with Brolo in this one. Javon Carter had one of the greatest quotes the other night after the game when they won 136-132 in overtime. And the reporter asked him, Javon, when did you know that you were going to have when did it come to you that you realized you were going to have a big night tonight? He goes, when I woke up. So I love that confidence for that man. That is all the time we have for you in these props tonight. Looking to close out the week strong after another solid week with these player props. So make sure to like and subscribe to that page. Continue to follow along, and until we see you next on Monday, happy betting.